Welcome to Education Matters, presented by the Public School Forum of North Carolina. I'm your host, Dr. Marianne Wolf. This week, we're joined by the 2025-26 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Teachers of the Year. These outstanding educators have been recognized for their dedication to students and contributions to their school communities. And today, we'll hear about their inspiration, experiences, and hopes for the future. We are so pleased today to be joined by Rachel Candaso, the North Carolina Teacher of the Year from Wellcome Middle School in Pitt County Schools, and the following Regional Teachers of the Year: Hannah Moon from Laney High School in New Hanover County Schools, Tamika Farmer from GW Carver Elementary School in Edgecombe County Schools, Dr. Anthony Martin from East Columbus Junior and Senior High School in Columbus County Schools, Chanel Jones from Broadview Middle School and Alamance-Burlington School System, Taylor Bomar from Greenlee Primary School in Mitchell County Schools, Lydia Sale from West Elementary School in Swain County Schools, Yoronda Kilgo from Wingate Elementary School in Union County Public Schools, and Lindsay Phillips, the Charter School Teacher of the Year from Mountain Island Charter School. Welcome to all of you. We are so pleased today to be joined by our North Carolina Regional Teachers of the Year and our North Carolina Teacher of the Year. Welcome to all of you. I'd love to start out by asking you, what drives you as an educator? What inspired you to pursue this path? And what do you wake up thinking about every day as you take on this such an important role? Tamika.
What drives me as an educator is being able to make a difference and knowing that I am inspiring future leaders and helping to develop students to be future leaders. Using education as a pathway, for me, education was a safe haven for me. It was a safe place and a safe space for me. And so I want to also create that for my students as well.
Thank you, Tamika. Taylor.
Yes. Education for me, I was inspired by my own second grade teacher. And so I've said this before, I'm currently teaching in the same classroom that I had her in second grade. And so it's just a really cool full circle moment to see that the inspiration that she placed on me, that I'm now in the exact location. And I hope that I'm instilling the same inspiration in the students that I have. And just to see, I teach the little ones, so just to see their excitement and just how cool and fun they think education is, it makes it worthwhile for me.
Thank you so much. And I know you're inspiring students in that way. Absolutely. Yoronda, what motivates you?
For me, I would say I really think a lot about the legacy that I leave behind just as a human being and as a person. So because it has been something that's always in my brain, I'm thinking about what legacy I can leave, what seeds can I plant, and what can I do to help our future and our society long after I'm gone. So for me, just going into education was naturally, I know that when I leave this world, what I've done hopefully inspires generations and futures to come.
I am certain of that. Lindsay.
I teach the youngest ones. I teach kindergarten. And so for me, really what drives me every day is when they start to learn, to read, to solve those hard math problems. And when it clicks and they get it and you watch them enjoy, it keeps you coming back every single day because you know that while you're teaching them what we deem as simple things, these are life lessons too that they're going to carry with them. And my first grade teacher is the reason that I am a teacher today. So as others have said, Taylor specifically, I do hope that I am instilling a love of learning in my kindergartners, just like my first grade teacher did for me.
And Lindsay, my mom was a kindergarten teacher for a long time. And so I have a special place in my heart and have spent a lot of days in kindergarten classrooms. So that's
it's a good time.
It is a good time. Lydia.
I am a fifth generation educator. So I have a long line of people that have come before me that have set the example of how to treat people and how to help people, and specifically how to help students. So similar to what Rachel and Anthony said, I want to open doors for students and help them to find their own success. I come from a rural area and I return to that area to teach, and education is the opportunity that a lot of kids have. There are not a ton of doors that are opened otherwise. So I want to, even though I teach the littles, starting them young, I want to make sure I'm giving them the skills that they need to open those doors and to find the success that they want to pursue someday.
Wow, fifth generation. That's unbelievable. Thank you. And thank you to your family too. I'd love to shift gears a little bit now, but you've already mentioned some of this about how you work to foster a positive, inclusive learning environment for all students. And I think what I'm going to do is start with our secondary teachers, so our middle and high school teachers. So why don't we start, Rachel, with you, how you do that?
Yeah, so my classroom is built around how do we build our relational capacity? So not only how do we build relationships with each other, but how do we maintain those relationships, especially in times of adversity? Because middle school is a little crazy with all the hormones. And so as I have my students from 6th to 7th to 8th grade, how do we manage the relationship that they have with their peers and then with me as well? And so that for me is how I've built my inclusive environment, is by really cultivating our own experiences and creating that sense of belonging in our classroom, that this is a safe space for all of us, especially this year with just managing the regional teacher of the year to the teacher of the year process. It's taken me out of the classroom a lot. And so it's been amazing to see my students cultivate that on their own and still maintain the classroom and the positive environment, even when I'm not there. So like we've really just evolved as a group of people working together towards our common goal, which is to, educate students and for them to maintain their own education, even in the absence of a teacher there.
Wow, thank you. That's a great testament to what you've created. Hannah.
Well, I teach a lot of seniors, so they are literally getting ready to step out the door into the real world. And one of the lessons I really like to instill in my students is that we are really all big. We are all one big community. Within my classroom, I let them have a lot of student choice. And with that student choice comes responsibility and individuality. And when they have to work together in their small groups or in the big group, it really teaches them that we're all equal. You're not better than him. She's not better than you. And I even foster that by showing them I'm not perfect either. I'm not this wealth of knowledge. I like to let them show that I'm fallible as well. We all have room to grow, and we're all just here to make the world a better place. So when you step out the door of high school, whether college, the military, the workforce, you're going to have to work with other people. You're going to have to learn how to do that, how to accept others, and then also accept yourself as well to be able to do that.
Thank you so much. Anthony.
I think one of the ways that I make my classroom inclusive is I try to work on flexibility. You can make your perfect lesson plan and you want to go through it because you worked really hard on it. But if a teaching moment comes up that has nothing to do with your lesson plan, you better take it. And I think that's the thing that I've had to learn is by keeping flexibility, you can learn a lot. And I also try to do something a lot of times we call flexible Fridays. And if we have time built in our week, I let the students decide what the topic is going to be on Friday. And as long as it's within the general area of the curriculum, we will do that. So that can be a lot of fun as far as that goes.
That's wonderful. And also modeling that flexibility, right? So then the children really embrace it too. That's wonderful. And Chanel, you're our last secondary educator.
I think one thing that I do as soon as like very first day, I tell everybody like, hey, I'm Mama Bear. Y'all are my baby cubs, and like we're a family. And I think when we start that way, no matter what we do throughout the year, we are all supporting one another. And I like to do a lot of jobs in my classroom. So by the end of the school, like honestly, maybe a couple of months in, my kids are running the classroom. I have student teachers. I have a mayor that knows everything that I'm going to do. And I give them a lot of choice. So when they come into my classroom, I want them to feel like they're at home. So we do a lot of flexible seating. The lights are always turned off. I'm telling you, if anyone comes in to film and they click on the lights, they're just like, oh no, what's wrong? So I just try to have the environment where they feel safe and they feel heard, and they leave the classroom, and I'm just there to facilitate any learning or life lessons that's going to happen throughout the day.
Appreciate that. Thank you all for taking the time to share that, because I think it just helps all of us imagine your classrooms, and you really brought us right there with you. Thank you so much. We will continue this conversation after the break. Welcome back. We are so pleased to be joined by our 2025-26 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Regional Teachers of the Year. Rachel, I'd love to turn to you as the North Carolina Teacher of the Year. And I know that you all work together to really think about what issues or areas do you want to lift up. And it's pretty early in your tenure. But do you have some specific issues that you all are hoping to highlight as Teachers of the Year?
I am very grateful that North Carolina operates its Teacher of the Year program as a cohort because, like Lindsay said, I want to echo that. We have an amazing group of teachers, and the expertise that's in this Zoom right now is amazing. And so I love that we get to highlight what is happening in every region. And so for me, as the Northeast Regional Teacher of the Year, I want to really advocate for what's happening in the Northeast. And when we think about rural schools and the funding of rural communities, because, you know, our county commissioners only have so much funds. And one of the things we faced here in the Northeast is school closures, because we just don't have the ability to keep schools open in our furthest areas where we have students. And so for me, that's one of the issues that I really want to highlight this year. And then also, how are we preparing our students for entering a global society after high school? And so as an avid educator, it's just what I do. It's part of my curriculum, but it's also something I firmly believe in, because I do not believe that I had the access to information that would have greatly helped me pursue a career after high school. I had to figure it out for myself. And luckily for a lot of our students, specifically here in Pitt County schools, we have so many opportunities, and I want to make sure that our students know that, and what we're doing here in Pitt County can be transferred elsewhere, so that our students, no matter their background, have access and they land somewhere, whether they are enrolled in a university program, whether they are they're enlisting, or they end up in the career field. Like, we want our students to end up somewhere. And so how are we going to do that for every student, no matter what or where they live?
Thank you so much. Those are such important issues to focus on. Did anybody else want to add any of the issues that you're hoping to elevate? Taylor, and then Anthony.
Specifically for me, I know a huge buzzword is funding, but coming from a rural area, like Rachel said, we need more. Like, we're sharing school counselors and we're sharing school nurses, and especially after, I know I've talked about the hurricane, but after the hurricane, when everybody came back, you see all of those emotional traumas and PTSDs, in addition to all of the things that they are dealing with already, that we might not even know. And to have to share a school counselor, she is absolutely amazing, but we don't have what our students need. And so we need more funding to be able to support them better, and especially those social emotional areas, as well as just in safety and staffing, to make sure that we are meeting every need they have, no matter what that need might be.
Thank you, Taylor. Anthony?
I really want to echo what Rachel and Taylor were saying, especially with the concentration of the rural element. I'm here in Southeast North Carolina in a rural community, and the opportunities for our students, we do our absolute best, but they're just not always there. I was recently with a group of great educators, and a lot of them were from the larger counties, the larger areas that had more funding, more opportunities. And those students get exposed to courses that we could only dream of when you're a one-person, two-person shop. And I know there's some other issues, but when it comes to equity in some of our smaller schools have big dreams. We do, and we want to realize them. So any help we can get would be wonderful.
Thank you so much. Are there any things in particular that you would like North Carolina legislators to know? And I actually think the issues that have already been elevated very much speak to things that in North Carolina do often happen at the state level. I think you all know that our funding for instructional and operational expenses in North Carolina are supposed to come from the state, whereas our capital expenses come from the local communities. Are there any other things that you wish our legislators knew as they're making decisions? Hannah and then Lydia.
Well, I feel like this gets brought up every year, but I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up teacher pay. You know, no one in this Zoom or in this career gets in it for the pay, but the fact that we are disrespected every year with our state salary is just unacceptable. North Carolina's 43rd out of 50. Teachers are going across the border, they're going to the private sector, they're leaving this essential career because of teacher pay. And these amazing educators, and myself and my husband, who's also an educator, you know, we're doing this work that is so meaningful every day. But if you look at it in inflation, I've been teaching 21 years. I've actually gone backwards in my pay scale. Over the course of a 30-year career, a teacher only makes about an extra $250 a year. And like Mo Green says, we need to revere teachers, and teachers deserve a living wage. And I feel like it's echoed every year, but now that I'm getting further and further in my career, if I were in the private sector 20 years in, I'd have raises every single year. So we need to start really giving teachers the respect they deserve and paying us what we deserve. We're doing the best for the next generation, for these amazing children. So, you know, that would be something I'd let legislators know.
So this sort of echoes what everybody has already said, but again, being in a rural area, the local supplement is non-existent. And there are a lot of areas around me that offer a supplement, but it's much less than areas that have a larger population. So when you couple that with housing shortages for beginning teachers and teachers in general, our rural areas are struggling to find and retain teachers. We are consistently having beginning teachers stay 1-2 years, and then they're going and working in a larger district where they can make more money, or they're leaving the profession in general. So yes, we need to pay teachers more, but there are also other things that need to be considered, such as housing and how are we supporting our beginning teachers and getting started, especially in rural areas where these opportunities are few and far between.
Thank you, Lydia. There's a lot of work to do. Oh, Chanel, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to piggyback off of everyone as well. I know working at Alamance-Burlington school system, we are sandwiched between two districts that have a higher supplement. So a lot of times we lose a lot of amazing educators to the neighboring districts. And we also have a shortage of teachers. I currently teach 2 subjects, and my classroom sizes are 33 on average. We only have 1 counselor for the whole entire school, and we share a social worker between different schools. And one thing I've noticed since 2020 that the emotional health of our students have significantly declined. And I spend most of my time, which I do not mind, but a lot of times my time is not spent teaching curriculum. It is teaching emotional regulation and talking through them what they're going through at home. So I think across the state, it is a huge issue when it comes to the mental health and social emotional learning of our students, and not having the means or the time or the people in the buildings to make it better.
Thank you. So many important issues you all have raised, and I think they really do mirror what we at the Public School Forum are often lifting up as well. So I really appreciate you using your specific examples, specific context to help others understand what those are and why they matter so much. After the break, this week's final word. So our last question today is one of my favorites, which is, as an educator, what gives you hope?
This group right here, I've gotten to listen and hear the incredible things these people do. And so it gives me hope that our children are being taught by these people and other great educators out there. And so this is where my hope lies.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. I could not agree with you more.
I'm over here sniffling, and I don't even know why. I'll just say, I'll piggyback off of everybody else and talk about our students, but I think it's because every student that I've experienced, especially in our Title I schools, I can see what I experienced when I was their age. And coming from where I've come from, to sit here and to be able to look at all of these amazing people, to instill in them that I made it somehow, and you can too. It's unbelievable. So the hope I get is that I made it out. So because I made it out, you guys can too. So one thing I holler out is I am, no matter what we're doing, and all of my students look at me and say somebody, because they believe it and they know it and they receive it. And that is the hope that I see. They are fearless. And I say, are y'all chickens? And they say, no. And I say, are y'all turkeys? And they say, no. And I say, well, what are y'all? And they say, wildcat. And they believe it. And so that is the hope that I see, the fearlessness. Like Hannah said, they're happy, they're excited for the future, and they're ready to take on whatever you put in front of them because they know that they're somebody.
Thank you. Tamika?
I am so done at this point. This group is absolutely amazing. Just like what they all said, my students give me hope, but this group has also given me hope. Being in this position as Teacher of the Year has also given me hope as well, because it put me in a position that I can make a difference on a larger scale. I was making a difference, just in my classroom, in my school, but now in my district and now in a region. It opened up more doors to allow not only my voice, but all of our voices to be heard, to put us in a position to make these changes that we've discussed on this panel. It gave me hope for my career. It also gave me hope to instill even more for my students. It gave me the hope to fight even harder for them, to go hard for my colleagues, to go hard for our state. So this is where my hope is. My hope is in my students, these awesome leaders that I'm walking beside here, Teacher of the Year, as well as just being in a position that I am in, that I can make a difference for our future.
Thank you. Anthony?
So I'm generally a positive person, but I know that certainly as of recent times, public education doesn't always have a positive connotation. And through this process, one of the things that gives me hope is I was invited back into May to the J. Robinson Gala. And I sat there in that room and I looked around the room and it hit me. Every one of these people was in my corner. And that was powerful. And just to know that we have more people in our corner more people for us than against us. And that part really hit home a lot. And I think this whole process of the Teacher of the Year has really given me hope as well, because I get to see those things when normally you're in the classroom, you don't see those things.
Well, thank you all so much for being here. Each of you gives me hope. And I'm just so grateful for what you do every single day and every year for the kids that are part of your world. And so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for taking time with us to learn and think about education. That's all for today, and we'll see you next week.